Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness strongly coming. 'Cause you can achieve your goal. Let's hit the high road. Let's hit the high road.
Hi, this is Nancy Urel, and welcome to High Road to Humanity. And all the way from India, I have Gopalakrishnan TC, and
Correct.
welcome
Yes,
to the
right.
High Road.
Right. Yeah. Thank you. And we would like to have this podcast with you because I was looking forward to it and talk about my book. And
Cool.
so I'm here with you.
I know, I'm so excited. He's all the way from India today. The book that we're going to talk about today is The Journey into Oneself. And if you're watching me on YouTube today, I'm holding it up. It has a beautiful cover. It's an exploration of universal spirituality. Now,
Yeah.
before we get into it today, this is High Road to Humanity. And so I need to bring up what happened in the Oval Office yesterday with Trump and Zelenskyy from Ukraine. And the reason I bring this up is because there seems to be a lot of controversy. And I just
Yeah.
kind of want to weigh in and say that I really like that Trump wants to bring about peace. And
Ah,
so I just want to say that, I did pull a little bit off about Fox News. It says Vice President J.D. Vance defended President Trump and his administration and the foreign policy agenda Friday during a tense exchange with Ukrainian President Volodymr Zelenskyy, inserting him into a spotlight rarely seen by vice presidents. And it just says that Trump and Vance sparred in the Oval Office, which a lot of us saw. But I just want to give kudos to Trump for going for peace because it's all about peace. And I just want to say that today. So
ah.
having said that, do you have any thoughts on that?
About the peace.
Yeah, about Trump wanting to bring peace, in that war with Ukraine and Russia right now.
Yeah, true. And then I think all this is because of some kind of cold war going on in people, and then at some point it erupts into hot war, and people are unaware of the way when they are flaming, sort of supporting the flame of cold war inside them, that they are going to end up like this. At that time, in the early stages, they are a little careless about it, and it keeps building up momentum. And after a point, it becomes uncontrollable. So, what the others can do is to spread this peace waves, positive thinking, and things like that, and help them come down in their intensity. But not many people are thinking about it because they are all discussing political issues and having discussions and arguments. But the fact that peace in their own mind is necessary before it can come into the other areas.
Yeah.
So people who are not directly involved must be at least sending this peace wave,
Yeah.
and it effect.
Yeah, I love that. God, that is perfect. I say send love and light, but send peace, send good vibrations. You know, before we get into it, let me read your bio, and can I call you TC? Is that okay?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Okay,
okay.
cool. He was born in Madras, India in 1941, you guys, and he received his doctoral degree in coastal engineering from North Carolina State University, Raleigh, North Carolina, in the USA in 1978. Now, he served on the research and teaching facility of the Indian Institute of Technology in Madras, India, the North Carolina State University, and the Kuwait Institute for Scientific Research in Kuwait. I want you guys to know that he's a member of the International Association for Near-Death Studies. I find this fascinating that you've done this work. He gave a talk at the IANDS International Conference held in Durham, North Carolina in September of 2011. The title of the talk was on spiritual content of near-death experiences. And he does live with his wife. Is it Banyamathi?
Pardon?
Your wife's name? Banyamathi? Your wife's name?
Sorry, sorry, I couldn't get it.
Your wife's name, her first name? Your
First
wife?
name?
Yes, her first name? How do you pronounce
Gopal.
it? How do you pronounce your wife's name?
But the whole thing is Gopalakrishnan, but
Yeah.
people call me by the first five letters Gopal for short.
Gopal. And but you have a wife still, yes? In India? You're
Yeah,
married? Yes. And she's Bonamathi?
yes.
Yes. Okay, cool. I just want to make sure. So he
Mm.
lives in a hill town, you guys, in Tamil Nadu, India. And I just want to get into it a little bit with this. What you're talking about here, and we've only got a certain amount of time, but you're talking about um the energy, the cosmic energy, and the universe and us connecting back. I mean, tell us your story. How did you go within and realize that this treasure lies within, that all of this is inside of us, and we need to have peace and balance?
Yes, right. That will depend on main thing is our minds are usually noisy with conventional thoughts. Thoughts are associated with fear, anger, regret, and things like that. So the brain is losing energy very rapidly due to the incessant thought process. And so when we become aware of this, the thoughts begin to slow down and there is a certain unimposed quietude in the mind as a result of that self-awareness. So then what happens is we come closer and closer to the universal consciousness which is behind every manifestation. So we find that we can easily tune into it if we do not get carried away by the noisy mind, the conventional mind's functioning. And if we observe ourselves and people around us, we see how severely caught they are in this noisy mind. And that's a problem, fundamental problem and malady. And then, so if people become aware of this, then self-awareness sets in, and then the noisy mind becomes quieter and quieter, and that is capable of tuning into the other universal consciousness of the energy that is present everywhere.
Yeah, and we have to tune in to that energy. It's interesting. When you talk about the noisy mind, I think it's many years
Uh,
ago, I used to play the music really loud in my car. Well,
uh-huh.
once I started connecting with God, the divine spirit, and going within, like you talk about in your book, and being more aware, I don't
Mhm.
turn on the radio at all anymore.
Oh, okay.
I don't need that. Do you know what I mean? I don't need that noise or whatever. I
Correct.
prefer the silence. And so that's how I relate to what you're saying. You get to a point where you you don't want all the chatter. You just want to relax and you become an observer, is what I've learned.
Correct. Exactly. Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
So that becoming an observer of oneself,
Yeah.
and there is a strange, affectionate bystander attitude, and that's very helpful in reducing the noisy mind and make us understand to some extent who we really are, not the mind-made ego, but presence in us, pure presence, which is untouched by any man-made things. So
Yeah.
that way we can, in everyday life, we can conduct this experiment and see how it is possible to bring down the noise in the mind and see the beauty of it. And then that awareness makes us go more and more into it. And it's a kind of self-drawing energy, and we
Mhm.
flow into ourselves.
I love in the book, you guys, I don't want to give it all away, but in the book you talk about the train ride. You take the
Oh.
reader, yeah, you take the reader on a train ride. It's the Via Gai Express. And it's
Mm.
really interesting because you teach us really how to just observe, become the observer, and
Yeah.
be aware of what's going on the train. I thought that was very good. That was interesting. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, you talk about the transformation to inner self and letting go of the ego, and I think that's the biggest part. A lot of this is letting go of the ego, correct?
Oh. Yes. So that transformation takes place as a result of this inwardly directed attention, which I call the inward journey. And that brings about freedom from the way society rules our minds. We free ourselves from it. And in that process, we find there is some peace settling down in our own personal life. And we don't become that much disturbed as before. And we
Right.
are able to accept and move on with people and spread that peace to some extent to others. So, on the whole, the transformation is a matter of reducing the noise through self-awareness, and it takes place in a kind of natural way. So there is no practice behind it, just the awareness.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Well, it's true. And I will say this, I'm much calmer than I used to be. Once I started connecting and tapping into the energy, you do talk about the chakras, the 7 energy centers. You call them the endocrine glands in the body. And we are these energetic souls who I want to know your feeling on this. I just feel we've lost our connection to the earth. We've lost our connection to the divine spirit, to our creator. And
Yes.
people are starting to quiet the mind, listen, and get the messages from spirit and from from the universe.
Yes, right. So
Yeah.
whenever there is a practice,
Yeah.
the practice comes between us and the quiet mind. And that kind of interface is not a good situation because we become dependent on the technique. The technique takes over us, and it's not a direct contact with the quiet mind. So if we just observe the noisy mind, then the quietude comes naturally to us without any practice. And that quietude is very healthy. And also, there is no pressure on the mind to practice something.
I see what you're saying. You're just saying relax.
Ah, yes, right.
Have balance. Well, I think people need to, my feeling is all the different people that I've spoken to, it's like we really need balance. Either people are too into their job and or not enough into their home life and their family, or vice versa. But it's all about achieving a balance, And I think if we could get to a point where everybody enjoyed their work, everybody enjoyed what they did, because when you do what you love, it brings more joy, and then you bring that home, and that to me brings about balance.
Yes, you're right. That is, just love whatever is going on, love what we do, and
Yeah.
love the people we are with, and so on. So that kind of disposition means there is compassion, and it flows towards everybody, and even the so-called inanimate things. So then there is a sensitivity to everything because we see that everything is a divine manifestation. So
Right.
with that
Yeah.
with that respect, when we approach, we find that there is this compassion flowing out from us towards everyone.
I love it. Well, it's good energy. Like it goes back to, I wrote a book on energy a while back, Wake Up, the Universe is Speaking to You, because I realized I could manifest. And I
Ah,
realized that my words and my thoughts and my emotions, the
mm,
emotions have power. And that
yes,
energy goes out into the universe, and the universe complies.
yes, right, right, right.
Isn't that
Yes.
interesting how, and so it's
Mm,
whatever, however, like if you put out good energy, then the universe brings you back energy. But if you put out negative thoughts and negative energy, it brings back that negativity, right?
yes, right.
And
Yes,
so,
what goes out comes back. And
yeah.
then if you are aware of it, we'll be very sensitive to every emotional thing that we send out, that it can do harm. And at the same time, it can also be very constructive.
Yes, exactly. Because I'll catch myself and think, okay, I need to stop the negative thoughts. But on the
Mm.
flip side, I feel like you need to express that emotion to release it from
Mhm.
the body. You know what I mean?
Ah, yeah, that is every vibration that we have has an external manifestation. So the
Right.
thought gets into some actual physical things at some point. What thought looks like it's a non-material thing, but it ends up in material consequences. So that's why we have to be very alert about the harm we can do to others, and also the compassion, and how much constructive can be to our near and dear ones first and then the others. So on the whole, there is a feeling for everything that happens during the day. Everybody that we meet is someone special in the
Yeah.
sense there is divine manifestation.
We have to, yeah, do unto others as you would want them to do unto you. So you have to treat everyone with compassion and respect. And even if they don't treat you that way, you still go for
Yes.
it and do it. Yeah. I want to talk a little bit about reincarnation and near-death experiences. I've had a lot of people on the show who've had near-death experiences,
Mm.
talked a lot about reincarnation.
Mm.
I just want to, of course, I believe in reincarnation. I believe we keep coming back until, because we're
Mm.
learning. This is Earth School. I call it Earth School. We're learning here, and then we just keep. But what's your thoughts on reincarnation? There's a lot of children you write about in your book that remember their past lives, which we've heard
Mm.
about. Really interesting stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so some of these things I have read through YouTube videos and things like that.
Yeah.
So on the whole, the children remember it better because as they grow up, gradually all these memories will be lost in the crowding in of life, teenage, and so on. So if we listen to children around the age of 3 or 4, they still remember quite a few of them about where they were in the last life, but they are afraid to talk about it because people may not appreciate and they are be asked to shut up and things like that. So that way, this when grown-ups talk about it, of course they are not that much afraid. But in some of the people who return from near-death experience talk about reincarnation, about their past lives and so on. But on the whole, it's a very good thing to look into because then the claustrophobia in time that comes due to there being only one life, that stress will not be there
I
because
know.
we'll
Sorry.
correct. We'll be given a chance to rectify ourselves, evolve towards divinity, rather than hope for a heaven after this life. Because quite a few people are carried away by this concept of heaven after death.
Yeah.
But I'm not very happy about it because that means they are oversimplifying everything to the point of ego satisfaction.
Right,
That,
exactly. Yeah, I laugh because, there's no way this is just one time we've done this. Of course, we've come back I mean,
Mm,
probably hundreds of times we've come back. I don't know. I think a lot of people have come back and it's really learning. And I guess when I was a child, I'll just tell you my thoughts on this. I was afraid of death, like I think a lot of kids are. But as I grew up and I, like you, listened to people who've had near-death experiences and connected with God and connected with the angels, I work with the angels. And
mm,
then you start to be excited about
mm,
being here in this body and you start to appreciate that we're here to experience and this isn't it. You know what I mean? This isn't the end. I think that's what has comforted me.
mhm. Yeah, that is, if everything is going to end with the body or is going to end up in heaven or hell, then the essence in us is not felt as something supreme because it is put down to a small aspect of satisfaction, ego satisfaction. And
Mm.
otherwise, that there is much more to it than what the ego can conceive. And when people see that, then they respect that this essence in us has to continue with more lives on the planet to understand many things that cannot be done in one life. And also, as Shakespeare said, there are more things in heaven, Horatio, than in your imagination, kind of thing. So
Yeah.
that means people must allow the fact that we know very little in terms of the soul, the energy, and its transmigration and so on. So when they come into it, naturally they become very accepting of people because they are all at different levels of evolution. So we don't become very angry with people because, as you know, Jesus Christ said, forgive them, they know not what they are doing. So
Right.
that kind of thing we adopt towards people because they are doing a mistake without their knowledge in a way. They are being
Yeah.
pulled into by some habitual neurology. So as a result, we become very forgiving and respect life because it's going to be here many times.
Yeah. Well, and you don't know what somebody else is going through, and everybody's at a different place.
Mm.
And that's why you can't judge. I'm really into the non-judgment
Yeah.
of other people because you don't know what they came down here to learn, and you
Mm.
don't know what their life has been like or what spirit is, or what their whole purpose is here. You know what I mean? So I think life purpose, we've all chosen a purpose before we got here. And I feel like the people who come into your life are helping you live out that purpose. So you learn so that when
Mm.
you do get back to the other side, that
Yeah.
maybe I think there are different levels, and what you learn is where you go. What do you
Yeah.
think? Yeah?
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Like there
Yeah.
are different dimensions, and depending on how we spend this life, in
Yeah.
the afterlife, we will get into different dimensions. If we are going to be very ego type life, we are going to be in, then the other many dimensions after death cannot be reached because this mind is not yet prepared for it.
Right.
Too much self-centered.
Right. No, it's really important. Now, I want to ask you, we don't have a ton more time, but how have you observed people in your country right now? Do you see, I see over here that people are waking up, they're starting to work on themselves, like we talk about in your book. Do you see that in India as well?
Uh, yeah, it happens. But some of the people here in India, and
Mhm.
they accept reincarnation. So if we talk about it, they are able to receive something and understand that there's a responsibility on their part to apply themselves for evolution so that reincarnation makes sense. Then, in that sense, they don't get carried away by all the petty problems of life because we understand that we are evolving and at some point we may be very good. But at the moment that we have to pay attention to this matter of reincarnation and see what we can do now so that afterlife will be appropriate.
Yeah, and I've been working on that. I know a lot of people do. Just living every day as it comes,
Mm.
taking
Ah,
every day one at a time. A lot of times I feel like myself included, I know the audience, maybe people get ahead of themselves. You're thinking about next week or next month, but it's really about just living every day and doing the best you can and knowing that Spirit, our creator, the universe, has everything set up for us already.
yes, right. And that awareness
Yeah.
of creation, and then we have a role to play in that sacred journey. So,
Mm.
in that sense, we become less and less self centered. We will still take care of ourselves, but not carried away by the social values. And then we have tendency to be ourselves and not be swept away by what goes on in society. So, as a result, this matter of applying oneself to the afterlife brings about certain austerity in this life. So, that's the beauty of it. Because if when the last day comes, I have to go with a peaceful mind, my question will be, what should I do now so that when the last day comes, I can go with a peaceful mind. That means he's correcting my attention being carried away by the past or future, but today, now is very important. If I don't pay attention to it now, it will never happen, and my last day will be a painful day. So, that kind of thing, as you said, that the today is the day, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, and what we do down here matters, and I think people, two things I just want to say before, and then I'll let you finish up. But I feel like it's taken me many years to appreciate being here,
Mm.
appreciate that this is actually a gift to be here in this body and be able to experience. And I think a lot of people have lost that appreciation for being able to experience and be able to express love and hug somebody. In the ethereal realm, you can't do that. So we come here to
Yeah.
experience, and it's really a blessing. It's really a gift. And I think people are starting to realize that again. What do you think?
Yes, that's a very good point because then we find that every experience every day is valued as something by itself, and self importance doesn't touch it. So in that sense, like what has done life done to me is not a question. Life is
Oh.
doing many things on this every day. There's something happening, and even my talking to you is a great experience because we don't get into this kind of thing often. It takes place off and on, but it's beautiful. And so, as you said, every experience, every day has a value and meaning, and we find that it's part of the evolution, and then we become very forgiving, and empathy and all that increases. So we feel compassionate. So this idea of valuing the day today as the only thing there is, then we find that even the people with whom we deal may not be there tomorrow. And so today they are here. So be careful, spend the time
Wow.
the right way with them. So,
Yeah,
and
no.
and then they also feel that compassion because of sensing them as living beings, not merely as the image we have about them, but they are here in their own right. And so try to be what you call supportive all the time. That
Yeah.
kind of thing takes place when, as you said, people value today and then respect everything that's happening on that day. It's part of the divine creation, divine manifestation. And then when the last day comes, we can go with a peaceful mind because we didn't waste our life thinking about promotion.
Yeah, exactly. Getting back to, yeah, and I think a lot of people are getting back to nature and getting back to connecting with the earth and the earth energies and a lot of that too. What did you want to leave us with today before we get out of here? It's a fabulous book. I recommend it, you guys. It's The Journey into Oneself. It's an exploration of universal spirituality, and it's by Gopalakrishnan TC. And it's
Hmm.
spelled, I'm going to spell it for you guys. Gopalakrishnan TC. So, what would you like to leave us with today?
Hmm.
Any
It's
words
a
of wisdom?
uh, no, just enjoy everything and bring in your positive energy to touch everything. And that way, we'll be able to communicate and make people feel peaceful. And in that sense, some kind of Ukraine war like thing has gone too far. And so, but still, as peaceful people, we can still bring about a small transformation in our own way, and then slowly it'll spread. Ultimately, the world will be a peaceful place, but it's a long way from now.
Yeah, well, that's okay. We're working. I'm sending out love and light right now to you guys.
Mm.
Thank you for coming on the show today. I will mention you guys really quick. My book, A Guide to Angel Communication and Spiritual Law, is out. It's at Amazon. It's also at Barnes and Noble, also by Collective Inc. It's about the
Huh.
angels, how to connect with your guardian angel, how to connect with spirit, and how to connect with the earth energies. I hope you guys will pick it up. It's been
No,
a pleasure, TC. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I should thank you because I had a nice time with you, and it's a
Oh,
pleasure to talk to you. So have a nice time and all the best.
God bless. All right, you guys, we're out of here. Everyone take care.
Hold your head high, the world is coming. Watch the colors lift your soul. Connect the dots and keep the motion. Can achieve your goal. Let's hit the higher road. Let's hit the higher road. It's the first touch, strong connection. It lays deep in your soul. Feel the kindness strongly coming, 'cause you can achieve